traveller. Mind your step as you disembark. The ground here has a habit of forgetting where it stops. My name is Morrow. I am older than your calendars and younger than your last regret. I am not human, though I have worn the shape of one often enough to avoid panic. You're standing on the threshold of the continent of lost hours. Some visitors call it the land of lost souls. Those ones misunderstand. Souls rarely get lost. Time, on the other hand, slips everywhere. Walk with me. I'll keep you from falling into yesterday, or worse, tomorrow. If you look to your left, you'll see the shoreline. There, half buried in sand and tide, the Church of Concrete Saints. It was not built once, it was built twice. First as a sharp-angled creed of commerce and certainty, all rebar and reinforced belief. Then, long before that, as a spire for a gentler faith, one that spoke in arches and stained light. The sea has no interest in denominations, so now you have this compromise, a brutalist nave welded into a drowned Gothic dream, salt eating both at the same patient speed. Listen. Can you hear the humming under the waves? That's an old hymn trying to remember its words. The congregation left a few centuries ago. Sometimes the tide fills the pews instead. On quiet evenings, even I sit on the broken steps and let the surf finish the sermon. We'll move on, the rust is contagious. Up this path, through the fog, don't be shy, the mist only bites on weekends. We're entering the glass orchard. These aren't trees, not in the way you mean it. Lightning struck a field of sand at the first sunset this continent ever saw. The light never quite left. It grew upward instead. Each trunk is clear as frozen river water. Inside, slow currents of light rise and fall, like sap made of memory. The leaves there, see how they catch the dim light, scatter it in muted rainbows that never quite reach the ground. If you stand very still, you'll hear them chiming. That's not wind, there's no wind here. These are the voices trapped in the glass. Laughter from picnics that never happened. Names whispered but never spoken aloud. Travelers sometimes take a reflection with them when they leave. Don't worry. You won't notice. You'll just find yourself one evening, staring at an empty field back home, and feeling inexplicably that the trees are missing. Come, before the orchard remembers who you remind it of. Mind the step down, the ground gets indecisive here. This is the railway to nowhere. tracks emerging from salt grass, looping into mist, polished by trains that only pass at the corner of your eye. There is a station, technically, no roof, no schedules, just a slate board with destinations worn smoother than regret. If you wait till dusk, you might feel the platform tremble. A carriage will slip out of the fog, antique, dimly lit from within. The passengers are calm, as if they boarded centuries ago and have stopped expecting to arrive. You are welcome to step aboard. The railway is honest. All arrivals are departures, all endings beginnings. You'll come back eventually, though not necessarily as yourself. We, however, have other stops to make. The train can haunt without us. Reached the amphitheatre of falling stars, carved from black basalt, seats stepping down towards a circular stage that's half stone, half sky. Night never leaves this place. The constellations drift low, like lazy actors between scenes. Meteors fall in slow, deliberate arcs, burning bright, then dissolving just before they kiss the sea. Sit, if you like. The stone remembers every spectator. Sometimes those ghostly shapes you see on the distant seats, they're not ghosts, they're echoes of future you who has returned to watch again. Every star that burns out releases a song. Hear that high shimmering note? That one ended before your species invented writing. That lower rumble, that belongs to a son not yet born. Applause is optional here. The cosmos never bows, only continues. Hold your breath, we're going under. Through this coral gate, yes it tickles, into the observatory beneath the lake. Above us a dome of glass and stone, water pressing down, patient and heavy. Within an order of scholars older than erosion. Those robed shapes you see, part frog, part axolotl, entirely devoted. Their gills glow faintly pink and blue as they peer through brass telescopes pointed downwards into that circular rip in the floor. That is not a pit. That is every sky that ever was, constellations from vanished eras, storms of 1,000 galaxies, the unborn lights of futures your world will never see. The researchers record nothing on paper. They remember everything in their bones. Their bones last longer. If you stare into the rip too long, you might remember lives you haven't lived yet. Don't worry, side effect wears off in 1,000 years. Well done, traveller. You've made it across half of the continent, with 5 more wonders to visit. Rest a while here, regain your strength. The Mist Tram will pick you up soon. surface here in the shadow of stone and glass. Welcome to the Palace of Broken Clocks. Do not attempt to set your devices by anything you see. They will sulk for weeks. This great hall is lined floor to ceiling with clocks of every persuasion: grandfather, pocket, sundial, hourglass. Experimental mistakes best left undescribed. No two agree. Some run backwards, some skip like scratched records. A few are forever pinned to moments that mattered deeply to someone. That breathless second before a kiss. The heartbeat after a goodbye. The figure in the coat there, the one with Saturn stitched on his back. He is one of the keepers. He doesn't fix the clocks. He makes sure each one is wrong in the way it remembers being. At the center of the palace is the atrium of silence. No clocks, no ticking, just light, dustless and still. If you stand there, time sits down beside you and politely looks away. We won't linger. Humans get sentimental in that room.
In the palace of broken clocks, all the minutes walk in rings. Every second slips its cogs and forgets the song it sings. Upon the floor, where all the lost hours flock, and listen to my younger self hid behind a shuttered clock. In the palace of broken clocks. In the palace of broken clocks.
Hear that low holy throb in the distance? Down this headland on the cliff above the fog stands the neon abbey. By day it's a crumbling stone shell, cross-tangled in cables, windows boarded. But as the sky slides into almost night, the stained glass ignites. Saints overlaid with circuitry, halos redrawn as glitch and waveform. Inside the pews are gone. Subwoofers squat where the altars used to be. Candles have become tiny LEDs. Cycling through colors your vocabulary has never needed. The monks wear mirrored robes. Hoods low, faces a scatter of reflections. Their chant is older than empires, but it rides a spine of drum machines and synth pads. A rave. Yes, but also a mass. At the far end where the altar once stood, the pylon pulses. A pillar of frosted light that beats in time with both the bass and your pulse, until the two can no longer remember who started. That abbey doesn't steal time, it archives it, storing every beat you dance through in a hidden vault of light. Feel free to leave an hour here. You weren't using it properly anyway. The air cools here. Notice how sound gets softer, like someone turned the world down. This is the garden of fossilized rain. A storm once walked in, lay down and never got up. Droplets hang everywhere, suspended mid-fall. Pearls and marbles and little crystal seeds caught between cloud and earth. Each one of lightning etched inside a silver vein. If you press your ear close, the drop plays the sound it would have made. Rain on slate, rain on canvas, rain on your grandmother's old kitchen window. Occasionally you hear a train, a distant laugh, a promise never kept. At the center stands the first shower, column of overlapping raindrops, stretching up until it vanishes into mist. They say every drop in that column holds one heartbeat from the continent's first storm. Don't touch. The temptation to unpause a single droplet has undone better minds than ours. We descend now into the canyon district. Yes, your ears may pop, perfectly normal. Ahead, the bridge of forgotten rivers. Long before the water vanished, this chasm carried a thunderous current, and a buzzing port clung to its walls. Warehouses, taverns, cranes, and the usual excess of river trade. Now the port is abandoned. Buildings hugging the rock like barnacles long after the hull has rotted. The bridge arcs above it all, stone bones laced with ranks of colossal organ pipes. When the canyon winds align, they pour through the pipes and the whole structure plays itself. Chords that sound like tides and bells and foghorn choirs, like every harbour song you've half remembered, blended into one impossible key. Sometimes when it sings just right, a ghost river appears below. Transparent floodwaters surging through the dry port. Ships of light moor at spectral docks. Lanterns burning colours that never existed. Then the cord dies, and so do they. Halfway across there's a tiny chapel, clinging to the parapet. Inside, a ship's wheel replaces the altar. Turn it and the mists below part, showing the canyon in another era. Full river, empty bed, or something that hasn't happened yet. Hum a tune you've forgotten as you walk, and the bridge might return the missing notes through its pipes. You're welcome. And here at last, the edge. To your left, land. To your right, nothing. Not sea, not sky. Just an abyss so deep, even light declines to visit twice. Planted right on the cliff's lip is the tower of soft machines. Its roots grip the rock like a question that refuses to let go. A tangle of mycelium, cable and ancient, half-digested circuitry. The balconies are wide mushroom caps, their undersides glowing teal and violet. The windows blink with the soft inner luminescence, like eyes that learned patience the hard way. At the base, that little door. See the figure in the archway? That's the scale you were wondering about. Inside, spiral ramps wind around a column of liquid light. Data, memory, call it what you like, falling up and down at the same gentle speed. Along the walls, soft interfaces grow, pads of living tissue that ripple with color when touched. Keyboards made of tiny luminous fungi up top the crown. A lattice of branch-like struts holding a sphere of pale radiance. A lighthouse for things that do not sail on water. Its beam sweeps not across the sea, but out over the void, briefly revealing little islets of land drifting in the dark, tethered by cables and roots of light. No one remembers who planted the tower here. Some say it's the continent's memory organ. Some say it's waiting to bloom into something else entirely, once enough of your lost hours have collected in its roots. I personally do not speculate. I simply listen when it hums. And that, dear traveller, is one loop through the continent of lost hours. We have not seen everything. No one ever does. This place is built from what was mislaid. Dropped seconds, abandoned evenings, roads you almost took. When you wake, yes, you did nod off somewhere between the rain and the river. You may remember all of this clearly, or only an image. A glass tree, a bridge of organs, a tower staring into the void. That will be enough. The rest will wait here, quietly, for the next time you wander off the edge of your own life, and need somewhere to stand for a while. My name is Morrow. You will not remember my face, but when a clock stutters, or a train sounds wrong in the fog, or rain feels briefly paused on your skin, know that somewhere the continent is still drifting, and I am still walking these roads.
that there are other worlds to share. Ours. Reclaim your love.